The extreme summer heat is starting to put some stress on summer crops, but are the cooler temperatures that are showing up in the evening helping at all? To get us up to speed, here's OSU Extension Cropping System Specialist, Dr. Josh Lofton.
Josh Lofton, Cropping System Specialist here at Oklahoma State. Here to talk a little bit about summer crops, and just like every summer I think we always talk, it's been a very unique one. Going from those warm or those relatively cool and wet conditions early that have benefited a lot of our early planted crops into a more moderate summer, into what we've been dealing with the last couple of days, into a really hot and dry conditions have really impacted the crop. We see the corn crop planted early, was relatively cool conditions, had some good moisture early, has finished relatively quickly. We see a lot of our corn going into our dent or our later stages of grain development. That should be coming out here in the next month to 2 months, and it looks like a great crop. That early rains have really benefited it greatly. Some of our later planted crops have benefited from some of those conditions still yet. Maybe the cooler conditions kind of set them back a week or two, and we do see they are a little bit delayed from where we would expect them this time of year normally. However, we still are looking pretty good on some of this. We got a sorghum crop right behind us here. It is just getting past flowering, going into that early grain development, and that's kind of right where we need it to be at this stage in the summer. We are experiencing these abnormally or these more normal hot conditions during this week that we're out filming, and those hot conditions aren't great for the sorghum or any of the crops at this point in time. But the thing that we have to find great relief in for our grain sorghum crop and our soybean crop is how cool it's getting in the evenings. We're still getting into the lower 80s. Even some places getting into the 70s, and out in the panhandle getting out into the 60s, and that's still very beneficial for these crops. So even though we're getting really warm, we are seeing the impact of the heat in these crops in the middle of the day. We still come out in the morning like we're out here this morning. The leaves are really unfolded. They're capturing a lot of light. They're taking advantage of some of that dew. So we are seeing some positives still with this summer, even with this recent spike in temperature. So as we progress, as long as we stay relatively cool in the evenings and allow that plant to function, we really would like to get down into the 80s for that plant to really thrive. We still are going to see some positive growth from a lot of our summer crops that are still working out there. Insects are really picking up. In the last couple weeks, we've seen things from corn earworm, sorghum headworm, soybean podworm, all that complex, sorghum whirlworms and that, fall armyworms. We have started seeing indication of sorghum aphid, or what we used to call sugarcane aphid. So growers that have crops out in those really critical growth stages should get out, scout those fields. The one other thing we're starting to see in corn is some of these striping or whitening of this corn crop. And we've gotten in several calls about these conditions. Usually these corn plants are a little bit shorter. They're a little bit further behind as far as growth stage. And then they have these very symptomatic leaves that are spread throughout the plant. A lot of folks are asking about corn stunt. Is this corn stunt? We have seen some indications that corn stunt might be showing up in Oklahoma and might be building, but this is actually a different virus. And so the biggest thing is that we have really very little management we can do for this crop right now. It is relatively low levels of the field. We're typically talking 10% or maybe even less than 10% of that field. The biggest thing is to let us know how impactful this is. So if you go out into your field and you see that corn, contact your local county educator, state specialist, area specialist, or call the plant diagnostic lab on campus. What we're looking forward to at the end of the season, we really need, because we were delayed coming into this growing season, we really do kind of need an open fall and see those crops be able to grow relatively far into the fall. If we have an open fall, still continue to get these periodic rainfalls, I think we're setting up for a good summer crop year.